with Daniel Jones. Is that something that is for real, or is that something that you still also need some time to see more from?
Yeah, so just like writing people off in the first 2 weeks is dangerous. I think that like giving people too much credit in the first 2 weeks is dangerous as well. I definitely think that this could be a Sam Darnold redemption arc where he goes to a different team, him being Daniel Jones, and just completely like reflourishes his career. But I definitely want to see a little bit more. And I think everybody does, right? Like I don't know that there can be any strong judgments about Daniel Jones being back or not back yet, just because of the fact that he's played well, but he's also played like very terribly, as all Giants fans and maybe Brian Dable the most knows. Like he had that one season where they looked like a playoff team. They were like one of the better offenses in the league, and then since then it's just been downhill from there. So, does he have the potential to maybe be a feasible quarterback in the NFL? Sure. Do I want to see more from Daniel Jones? Absolutely, because of the fact that like you just have no idea, and anybody can have 2 games. Remember when Ryan Fitzpatrick was like the league's leader in passing yards and got off to a 2-0 starter, was wearing his V-neck like all the way, or like somebody else's sweater all the way zipped down. Like that was a fun start for the Bucs, but then how did that season end? Like, or how did halfway through the season end for Ryan Fitzpatrick? We'll see how it goes. Am I even writing off Anthony Richardson playing a couple games at some point in the season? Not completely, to be honest. I need to see more from Daniel Jones, and if it turns into superstar Daniel Jones, you can come back to this and
More
hate on
power
him.
to him.
Yeah, more power to him. But at this point in the season, you want to see more from him, from a Colt team and Daniel Jones.
So I've been out on Anthony Richardson since in the preseason. And that was even before the hit. Now we were kind of gone. We had a little bit of a hiatus during that time, so I didn't really get to express that. But I just don't think that this organization is a big fan of Anthony Richardson. I don't think that they're exactly, and certainly not after this 2-0 start. Even though I'm not buying it, I don't think that they're rushing to get him onto the field at any point this year. Do I think we see him? I mean, shoot, if I had to bet and I had to guess, I would say at a certain point this does slow down and we do end up seeing Anthony Richardson at some point. Not because of injury. Now, just for this Colts team and for Daniel Jones, like you're right, he had a lot of pieces when he was on the Giants, and it just kind of it slowed down. The wheels came off in the playoffs, and it wasn't something that looked pretty, and you questioned the ceiling for him, and he obviously ended up getting paid, and it ended up being a mistake. I just question the ceiling for this Colts team. Now, I will say at 2-0, you're not really trying to answer those questions, those big questions, especially whenever it's a surprising 2-0. And the way that it's looked has been good. And they stole that game for the Broncos, but still, it looks really good. So you're not trying to answer these philosophical end of season questions right now when you're just trying to win a week 3 football game. Like, I get it. But when I look at it from that point of view, it is tough for me to get on the Daniel Jones hype train. Like, I just don't think I'll be able to do it right now. And we just talked about CJ Stroud and, me saying I need to see a little bit more on is he having another third year slump, or is he having a slump in his third year? Am I out on him being one of the better young QBs in the AFC? For the same mention for the Colts, talk to me in week 8, week 9. And if they're 6-2 or whatever they'll end up being, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, this is a playoff team. But I might even have to see a little bit more too from the Colts. I might need like a week 13 check-in. I might be very, very slow on this. And this is no disrespect to the Colts. They got plenty of good pieces. They always have. They've always had a couple really solid offensive line pieces. And Tyler Warren looks like he's been a hit for sure. And they also got Michael Pittman Jr. and Jonathan Taylor. Got plenty of offensive weapons. It's not really about that. It's just is this a competitive team? Is this a playoff team? I don't know. Talk to me in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think that part of this is also like, could you buy the Colts and not buy Daniel Jones? I think that can
Yeah.
also be said. Like, I think that this division is like mid enough where the Colts can win this. The Colts can win the division, maybe not in spite of Daniel Jones, but like not with him being the hero that he has to be, or he has been over the course of the last 2 weeks. Like Daniel Jones played outstandingly well. Like they didn't punt in that first game, and part of that is due to the Dolphins defense. But then in that second game, they also looked very confident, and then they beat a Broncos team that should be a playoff team. So, or at least it like was a playoff team last year. So Can you buy stock in the Colts after how they've looked in the first 2 weeks? Sure. I don't know if buying Daniel Jones stock is the healthiest thing in the world, because there are enough weapons on that offense, like you mentioned, for that team to be feasible too. Like Jonathan Taylor looks back like he's back in form. He has 236 rushing yards for the first 2 games. Tyler Warren, like you mentioned, leads the team in receiving yards and receptions. Like he has had a great first 2 weeks, and he looks like the player that he was supposed to be a first round tight end coming out of Penn State. So can you buy this Colts team? Sure, he does have the weapons around him, and I think that this is generally just a good spot. Like you can throw a lot of people in this spot, and they can be pretty good. So I don't know that Daniel Jones is going to be like an all-star quarterback, but does this team have the surrounding pieces, especially on offense, and then also on defense, to make it work? Sure, they do.
Yeah, and the perception too, they're 2-0, and you can poke holes in the first 2 wins, but a win is a win. And you take care of business, do what you need to do, even if the refs maybe potentially throw you a bone at the very end of the game, or you play one of the worst teams in the NFL. It doesn't matter. You're 2-0, and that can propel you into another solid game and week against the Titans. Boom, you're 3-0. And I could see people start saying something about it. So I get it, but still gonna need to see more.